This is TWiT.
Is there a single thing that you would show off? Like if we were at a bar and I was like, all right, prove to me, make me want the 5S. What would
Yeah,
you
I guess
show me?
besides the fingerprint sensor, which is just kind of cool because it's new, what else is so great about it?
But also they did kind of a clever trick with iOS 7 where they just made it part of the setup. They're like, and now you have to pick a pin unless you think to do the little dismiss thing. And so now I've never used a pin for like 4.5 years. And then now they kind of tricked me into doing it. And so now it's like they created this inconvenience. And yes, there's added security, but now I could see wanting a fingerprint scanner.
Yeah, I mean, the police departments are trying to get everyone to do just that, just what you had to do, Brian, right? Because, you know, it does increase security, and it's a huge problem right now. Here in San Francisco, it's a massive problem. People getting their phones stolen all the time because they're like Sarah Lane, and they're walking down the street, and they can't put the phone in the purse.
I can outrun them.
They sneak up from behind, they push you, they clock you in the back of the head.
It's a legitimate problem.
And you drop the phone, and you fall on the sidewalk. They grab the phone and run away. I mean, it happens daily. Absolutely. That's exactly how it happens. I used to do it.
But Tim, I mean, what do you think are the standouts?
Yeah, Brian's absolutely right. Beyond fingerprint scanning, there's nothing really that makes you think, oh my God, I have to have this phone. It's a combination of a lot of smaller features that may or may not be appealing to you. I mean, having dual LED flashes that can adjust color temperature is pretty interesting, but ultimately, how often do you actually use flash for smartphone camera photography? If anything, we've all been trained to never take a picture with a flash with your phone because ultimately it's just going to be a terrible picture. Maybe we can relearn that. Better photography is nice, but again, it's not really night and day better than the iPhone 5 in my experience yet. And again, it's really, I think, the CPU that has the most potential for greater delivery down the road. But of course, all the apps that exist now have been written for the older CPU. Well, it's easy to port them up to the new 64-bit chip. Ultimately, there aren't going to be any gains until we see new development going forward to make use of all the new registers and the increased pipeline and all that other good stuff that it brings along with it. So I think that we'll see some great games going forward and a lot of cool stuff. But again, it's not something that's out there right now unless you're really, really hot to play the new Infinity Blade game and all its glory. Then again, it's not really a huge, strong selling point right now. But the fingerprint scanner is legitimately good. I mean, I use a Note 2, and I have a pin on there. And, you know, it feels archaic now for me to have to type my pin in all the time on that thing versus just scanning my finger.
Can you use your fingerprint to buy apps in the App Store, or is it just to unlock your phone? See, that to me
is right now.
That's worth $900 right there.
It is pretty huge. The expectation for me anyway is that that's going to be extended across other services and other platforms as well. I mean, I hope that Apple opens that up so that other applications can kind of tie into that, and I think they probably will. And I also hope that, you know, we start to see these on MacBooks in the not too distant future, because presumably, you know, we saw glass trackpads not too long after the iPhone came out. Presumably they could take this tech and pop it onto a MacBook without too much trouble, and you can sign into your laptop with your fingerprint too. That to me is also quite exciting, and so we can also see some cross-pollination in that regard.